Welcome back to Freedom Formula, where today we have Anmol. We're going to actually break down probably one of the things that I'm really excited about these days. I know if you've been following me for a little bit here, day trading has been something that I've been really learning over the past year and a half. So I'm excited to ask questions. I just for my own personal gain, But I think outside of that, you're so much more than the idea of trading. Trading is a component of what you do, but we're talking some mindset, we're talking psychology, we're talking high performance all around, and that's just one of those things that I resonate with, and I'm excited to learn more. So, welcome to the show, welcome spending some time with us here. I appreciate it. Let's jump in and just who are you? What are you doing? Like, where'd you come from? What happened in your life that kind of gave us the opportunity to be able to chat and listen to you today and learn, and like you just give us the background, man.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Anmol Singh. I'm currently living in New York City. Been here about 10, 11 years now. Before that, I was in London. And then before that, I was born in India. So I trade the stock market for a living. I've done that since I was like 18 years old. That's like literally started in my dorm room, worked for a couple of companies and traded for them. And then eventually, after doing that for about 5 years, when one of the companies I was working for got bought out, that's when I went out on my own and started Live Traders. So we do coaching, training for people looking to get into the stock market, or people who maybe already have another business, they have another job. They're like, I don't want to sit in front of my computer. I don't want to learn it. Like, but hey, could you like let me know what you're doing? So then there's like a newsletter component to that where I send them basically what I'm doing in my own account. So that's part of that too. And so yeah, started with just trading, and then saved up enough money to do startup investing in startup companies, and I also do Airbnb businesses now. I have 9 or 10 properties at the moment that we put up on Airbnb and short-term rentals. So that's a new thing we got into as of a couple of years ago. And then I run the Evolve Mastermind. It's a premier success community for people looking to evolve in all areas of their life. And I'm an author coming up with my third book next month. The first one was purely a mindset book called Prepping for Success, 10 Keys for Making It in Life. The second one is more of a journal that I wrote, which for all my productivity tips that I use on day to day, like putting in a journal format so it's easy for people to just follow along and actually get their journaling in. And the third book that I'm coming up with next month is on trading and investing psychology. So that's what I'm really excited about as well.
All right, well, cool, man. That's great. So you've been trading since you were 18. What got you into trading? And that you mentioned the psychology and mindset part, and I'm going to ask tactical questions here, and I'm just going to throw that out there. But I'm going to be the first to say, at least in my experience so far, trading is probably like 3% tactical and understanding a strategy and indicator, and 97% like psychology and mindset. At least in my experience. Like this morning, I'm sitting here, I trade in my window, and I'm like, oh, I gotta wait for the pullback, don't go in. I gotta wait for the pullback, don't go in. And what do? I push the button to go in. And then what happens right after I push that button? It pulls back like normal. And then it goes my way. So I didn't lose the trade, but I didn't win the trade as much as I could have. And I didn't follow my rules. And it's just, I felt I was going to miss out on the move.
Hmm.
But let's kind of go back. Like, what got you into trading? What piqued that curiosity, especially at 18 years old?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what you said is actually exactly true. That's what we talk about all the time. It's the classic 80-20 rule. Applies in any industry, any business, any sport that you might play. A lot of that has to do mental. Golf being the same thing. Golf is the same way. You can learn how to swing the golf ball, but like how your emotional state will determine that day if you hit it or not. It's kind of the same thing in trading. So for me, growing up, like trading kind of was the last thing that I thought I'd be ever doing. Like it was not even in my radar of being a trader because I was horrible at math and stuff growing up. So last thing I thought I'd ever do was to something to do with numbers. But I was in college. One of my friends asked me, he's like, "Hey, would you know about the stock market? Do you know anything about it? Do you invest?" I'm like, "Oh, no, nothing. I mean, my parents never invested. Conservative from India, and stock market was thought about as like gambling. So they never even invested till date. They don't have any stocks. So it was kind of the last thing I thought I'd be doing. But then when my friend asked me about that, I was like, okay, I'm definitely curious. Like, I want to learn a little bit more, see what it's all about. And then in college, we started a club called the Trading and Investing Society, which, because there was a society or club you could join for anything. You want to play football, there's a football club you can join. But there was no such thing as like a trading or investing society. So we just started it, a couple of guys, eventually grew to 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, and now many years later, like, even after I've been many years since I graduated, it's a thriving club right now in college, like several years later, 10, 20 years later, still running actively. And that's where we would meet up once a week and, we talk about maybe a book we read on investing. Maybe we watched CNBC. What did we learn? Just all trying to learn together. And then the more I learned, the more curious I became about it. And I started like getting my hands on every book I could get, watching every video I could watch. And then I started publishing a blog, which was just my thoughts on the market, research, some stocks that I'm looking at, and why am I looking at them. And then I think remember it's Yahoo Finance and a couple of the companies that noticed the blog, and they said, "Hey, your research is actually pretty solid. Do you want to write for us?" So I started there, and then they would pay me just like a freelancer, $1,000 here, $1,500 an article. As a college student, I was like, I'm going to write 10 of them. That's how I get the money to do it in the first place.
Yep.
So I started, writing the articles, and then eventually I applied for a prop firm, joined their company, and then kind of just worked my way up the levels. I would trade their capital, their money, and in exchange, they would take a percentage of everything I made for the company. So I did that for about 5 years under them. I think in the third or the fourth year, the CEO called me. He's like, "Hey, you're crushing it. Like you're crossing through the levels. You're getting promoted every few months. But a lot of the newer hires that we have in the company, they're still struggling. So like, do you want to coach them like what you're doing in your own trading?" And that's how I got into like coaching to begin with. And then 2015, the company got bought out, and that's when I said, "All right, I don't need to trade their money anymore. Why am I giving them a percentage? Now I've saved up enough of my own money." So then I started livetraders.com, where we do coaching training. So that was kind of my start to that. It came very easy. I mean, I was a typical introvert, always on my Xbox. So I was always looking for something I can do from my computer that I don't have to talk to people, deal with office politics, get stuck in traffic. So it was very natural for me. I took it like almost like a video game, basically.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I could see that path at 18. I definitely wasn't thinking about trading at 18 for sure.
Mm.
I was way more of a 38. I'm 20 years behind you on on trying to adopt that. But okay, so and then prop firm and moving through that. So just so people who are watching and everything just understand, like break down the idea of a prop firm and how all that works a little bit.
Yeah, so the prop firm is basically almost think about it like a fund. A company has typically is like a few partners involved, and the company, let's say, has billions of dollars in trading power, the money that they can trade with, and then they hire 50, 100 traders, and they train them, they coach them, and then the company allocates amount to traders. So newer traders typically will start with like $50,000 to trade with, and then as you prove yourself, they give you profit targets to hit. As you hit more targets, you get more money. Now you get level 2, you get $75,000. Level 3, you get 100,000, all the way to level 10, where you're trading like 10 million plus dollars of the company's money. And they typically take anywhere from 10 to 30% of everything you make in order for you to give them, give you the money and their platforms and all of that stuff. So you kind of have profit targets to hit to get promoted and earn the right to have more money, which was probably, I would say, I would attribute a lot of my success to that because when people start off from home, they don't have those guidelines of like, okay, what's my profit target? How do I decide when to raise more risk? How do I decide when to buy more shares? When do I know I'm ready? Like retail traders don't have those answers. And then also at a prop firm, discipline is forced upon you. You have a certain loss limit you can lose. If you lose that for the day, platform will just stop working. It'll just say, come back tomorrow, you hit your limit. Or if you hit your loss limit for the week, they'll say, all right, come back next week. Even if you hit it on Monday, come back next week. You've hit your loss limit for the week. So that instilled a lot of good habits because we could never blow up the account, right? Because you hit a limit, come back. You can't trade anymore. Whereas as a retail trader, you and I are doing it from home. Majority of the people don't have any risk management. That's why majority of the people end up losing because one bad day they can give back a month's worth of profits.
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems to go against you 10 to 20 times faster than it goes for you. And again, usually a mindset thing where you keep smashing that button trying to get it back whatever, but it's definitely a mindset thing and I never really thought about it and I started with a prop firm kind of
Hmm.
not working for a company obviously just in today's world and the one that I use you can only lose so much in a certain day and all right, you're done for the day, unless you want to pay the fee and re up and all these things, which you don't want to do. I
Hmm.
never thought about those limits as being a part of the reason why I have some of the habits that I have today. So
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah, if you go to Reddit and stuff, nobody has those habits. They're losing all their money in like one trade or something. But yeah, prop firms back then and now are very different though. Back then it was a legit business model where they were actually trained traders, coach them, and like really you're part of the company. So it had that feel to it. Nowadays they're just like, all right, you fund an account online. It's more like it's become a business now.
Oh yeah,
And nowadays, back then, the companies only made money if traders made money. That's how the way they made money. Nowadays, they don't care if their traders make money or not because they make the kickbacks from the commissions that you trade. So whether you lose, that don't matter. Whether you win doesn't matter. As long as you keep trading, that they're getting paid on commission. So the business model has changed. So prop firms nowadays, I wouldn't rely on them at all for sure.
yeah. It's one of the courses that I took. They broke down, I don't know, I want to say 7 or 8 different prop firms. And it was like, these three you should never use, and these ones be cautious, and then these ones here are the only two that I would ever suggest that you go with. And
Mm-hmm.
um, it was interesting to hear how they make money and how they kind of play the mind game to keep you stuck in there, like believing you can win, but never actually giving you the tools or helping you to change to truly win. Um,
Right.
and some of them are crazy that the way that they structure their payouts, you barely make any of the money, and just sometimes you don't even
Mm.
get paid from them just with how things work today. So it's a interesting world of prop firm world today.
Mm, absolutely. Yeah, it's just a different business model. And a lot of them are now sort of like CFD or offshore based. There's a lot of like shadiness there.
Yeah,
And yeah, their only game is to keep you hoping that it's going to turn out. So you keep trading and then they keep making the commission. So they'd rather have a trader that's always break even because then he's always going to keep trading and hoping for that. And yeah, the payouts are also structured nowadays in a way where it's pretty impossible for you to crush it at a company because it's like a casino. They've worked out the numbers, they know what it comes out for them at the end, and they're just following that business model just like a casino would.
yeah,
You could win a casino too, but if you keep playing, eventually you're going to lose.
yeah, for sure. So, all right, 18 years old, got into trading. Now we're here. What what did you go to school for? Like what would you focus on, and how's that serving you today, if at all? Just curious because I
Yeah.
often like to debate, is school worth it? That's always a fun conversation.
Yeah, I studied like a business management honors degree in London, and I would say if you're asking about if it's worth it or not, yes and no. So, like in terms of the curriculum and what I learned, absolutely not. Like I don't remember a thing I learned. I don't remember what I studied. Like I don't know any of that because I was always in my room, like trying to learn trading. So for me, that's where I spent a lot of my time. But the benefits were obviously there. Like because as I said, when I came to London to college, university, completely shy, completely introvert, couldn't even hold a conversation. And trading would be something that wouldn't have even crossed my radar had I not gone to university, right? So I think the benefits of university are the connections you build, the people you associate with, and maybe somebody throws an idea, it plants a seed in your head, and you're like, "Ooh, trading thing? Let me look into that." And now I'm doing that. Whereas it could have been a completely different story. I might have been in a cubicle job if I never, went to college. So those are the benefits, and for you to be able to stretch and develop yourself into who you want to be by participating in all these clubs and societies and like really putting yourself out there. And it's the people who you meet. So I always tell people like if you know you're gonna be the right audiences in the university you want to go for it. But if you're just going to like an average university where you know that you're not even going to build solid connections, then I would say it's not really worth it.
All right, the networking. That's the
Yeah.
value. I think I only went to college for 2 years. I didn't finish, and the most value I got out of it was the networking,
Hmm.
the function of problem solving, which I didn't learn or understand what I had learned until way after college, was a side benefit per se. I went to school for engineering, so there's some of that. But the content itself, I mean, A, I don't really use any of it today, but also B, to your point, I don't remember any of it. So
Yeah. Plus, even if you did remember, it's probably outdated by now.
also that AI
Yeah.
definitely would have replaced my
100%.
ability to build a calculator in C++ coding for sure.
Yeah.
So well, cool, man. Hey, if somebody wants to follow you, find out more about you, just kind of see what you have going on, learn something, like where's the best place to go today? I know you mentioned the business. I know you got a book. Like break down some of those things so somebody watching go ahead and find you out there on the internet.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to give your listeners a free copy of my book. They can just go to go dot unmol, my name, .net. So go.unmol.net, and they can just cover shipping, and wherever you are in the world, we'll send it out to you. So that'll be the best place to start off. But otherwise, social media, I'm most active on Instagram and X. My username on both of those channels is the same. It's all spelled out Delta 90, DELTA 90. Don't ask me why. At the username when this platform first came out and I was in college, and I've just like, it's too late to change it now. So we're stuck with
I
it.
was actually going to ask that question. Why Delta 90? I'm like, maybe there's something fun, cool in trading that's a special.
Yeah, it was an options terminology. In options, they have deltas.
Yep.
So I used to trade a lot of Delta 90 options back in the day. It's a stock replacement strategy. So I
Okay.
started with that username, and then I was like, all right, it's too late to change it now.
All
So
right. Well, I mean, once you learn it, it makes sense. I've
right.
literally only spent 3 days learning some basic option strategies, so
Mhm.
definitely not my strong suit there. But
Yeah.
well,
Now
appreciate the
we can
time.
change that.
For those of you kind of listening in, watching in here, just jump in for round two. We'll be posting that here in about 2 weeks, and we're gonna actually break down something that you can use. Right. So, think if you're interested in trading, you're probably gonna learn something out of it. If you are trading, hopefully you learn a new strategy that you can go lean into or at least investigate and learn. So come back, visit us there, take a watch, and go follow Enmol and Delta 90, and go get that book, guys. Thank you again for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.